Episode 10 of season 16 of Married at First Sight is in the books. You know, at this point, we got to be close to around our 4-week marker. I think maybe we're a hair under that. We're somewhere in the day 20s anyways of our 8-week journey. We're down to 4 couples, and before we jump into the episode, just have one little thing I want to talk about. And that is, with each passing week, I have less and less faith in the story we get sold in the previews. Those editors are using maximum levels of deception when splicing those clips together. You know, it looked like we were going to get a lot of these dramatic moments this week, and most of them just ended up being lines that people said taken completely out of context. And you know, we should know by now that that's what they do in the editing department on this show, but for whatever reason I get sunk in, or I bite hook, line, and sinker a little bit each and every week. All right, let's get into our couples. There was a couple that not a couple, one person that's really started to rub me the wrong way tonight. So I want to start right there, and that is with Kirsten and Shaquille. You know, Shaquille is really starting to rub me the wrong way. He just kind of has this attitude where he always either needs to correct or one up Kirsten, and I'm really not enjoying that. You know, we look back 4 weeks to the start of their relationship, and I really thought Kirsten was not going to give him a chance. I thought that she was kind of coming across as very cold, and yet here we are several weeks later, and it feels like she's the one who's trying to hold this relationship together, while Shaq is, I don't know what he's doing. It seems like he's not been very present for her, and is not giving his all to this relationship. You know, we hear Shaq say that he can't make her happy until he makes himself happy. And it kind of gave me vibes as like, why are you coming on this show if you're basically saying, hey, I'm not going to give my all in this marriage until I'm ready to give my all in this marriage? No, you're signed up for Married at First Sight. Like, you need to be ready for marriage. You can't be willy-nilly about it. The people who are willy-nilly about it, it doesn't work. Well, also the people who are committed, also it doesn't work because our matchmaking is so bad. But that's not the point. Like, in this case, I think that on paper, these two were a good match. You know, I don't think that the experts took what each other was, specifically Kirsten, what she wanted physically, into account. And, you know, just that alone could be enough to lead to a divorce. But yeah, I got sidetracked there. Whatever. Let's move on to my next point. Shaquille thinks that time, but not time together, is going to help him fall in love. What an absolutely asinine statement to make. It's just not how it works. Like, say, well, let's use Shaq as the example. Shaq probably went to kindergarten, right? So he's known those people a long time, extremely long time. So he must be madly, deeply in love with all of those people because they've known each other for such a large amount of time. Absolutely not, Shaq. Spend time with your wife. It's very simple. You want to get to know somebody better? What's better? Just not spending time with them, or spending time with them? Obviously spending time with them. Shaq, not allowed to swear, get your stuff together, Shaq, and start giving more quality time to your wife. Another thing came up, that Shaquille passed up on a job And I got the vibe that that is going to be something that he is going to hold over her. Very similar to the situation last season. Oh, I can't even remember the names. The big tall guy gave away his dog, Justin, and wanted to hold that decision over his wife and basically force her to stay with him. And like, that's just no good. That's just something that's going to lead to resentment long term either way. Either that in this situation, Shaq's going to resent Kirsten because he missed that job opportunity, or Kirsten is going to resent Shaq for holding that over her. All around bad situation. And who knew plant shopping could be so divisive? When my wife and I go plant shopping, we just get whatever we want. And what we want is whatever plants my wife picks. Like, that's pretty straightforward. If we're out plant shopping and my wife says, hey, I like this plant, you know what we do? We get that plant. And like, if I ever say I want a plant, it's not happened yet, but maybe one day I'll see a plant and I'll see, golly gosh darn it, that is a pretty neato plant. I'll buy that plant. They were going back and forth and just was very weird. Like, they were giving off like a very cold vibe to each other, and very, very weird. Last thing for them, Kirsten, she tried to create this intimate moment between them, and we finally get this moment. Shaq opens up like a little bit, start to get a little bit of insight to him, and I'm sitting there thinking like, wow, this could be a real turning point for them. And then Kirsten, she tries to start opening up a little bit, and Shaq just won't stop talking. He just keeps interrupting her, keep talking over her over and over and over again. And we got to the end of that whole scene, and like, my jaw was just on the floor in disbelief, because I just couldn't believe that that's how he chose to spend that moment. She's extending this olive branch and saying like, hey, let's do this intimate activity, let's get closer, let's build our relationship. And it felt like Shaq just absolutely ruined it. All right, let's move on from them, jump over to the next couple, Jasmine and Airris. We start the episode. Airris has COVID, so he's sick, he's stuck at home, and Jasmine is like it says that she's going to help him out. She's going to take care of him, and we hear Airris rate her as a 7, that her assistance while he was sick was a 7 out of 10. This guy, like why did this guy make the cut for the show? Absolutely ridiculous. And that wasn't even like his crowning achievement for the episode, because later on he decides that they should play a game of Never Have I Ever. So you've got the guy who does not want to have sex with his wife basically start playing a game with her so that he can brag about his sexual conquests. So he can brag about the number of orgies he's been in, not an attractive quality. The number of one-night stands he's had, not an attractive quality. The number of partners he's cheated on, not an attractive quality. I just, like, if I was Jasmine in that situation and we got to the end of that, I would probably just stand up and say, all right, it was great getting to know ya. See you never. Hopefully she does that sooner rather than later. I do have a hunch that they're at least going to make it to decision day, potentially past decision day, but cannot see these two working out long term. He's just been such a pig so far. The flashback they showed of him asking her favorite sexual position back on the honeymoon just tells you all you need to know about this guy. Let's eject him off the show. maybe bring in somebody new. You know what? Even just bring in McKinley, give McKinley and Jasmine a shot. Probably wouldn't work out, but at least they'd both have somebody who like vaguely wanted to be on the show. But whatever. Let's move on. Gina and Clint. So Clint going to Gina's office, it was weird. Going like we got to see at that point in the episode, we got to see like Nicole and Chris. They go and get a couples massage. They get to go on their little fancy drink date, and then Gina takes Clint on take your husband to work day. Very, very bizarre, and like just it just was weird. The space looked teeny tiny. Everybody just seemed so awkward who was there. And like these two are just fully in the friend zone. I don't see any way that they're getting out of the friend zone. They now live in the friend zone. And they're just not getting past that. From there, we got to see them go sailing on Clint's ship named Dang, I guess. He seemed to think that that was absolutely hysterical, that he named his boat Dang. And like they just seemed like two buddies just going out on for a little sail. Then they went to the PBR, watched a little bit of rodeo, and then I'm pretty sure they high-fived after. Like it's not even like a hug, not even a kiss on the cheek, not even like a light handhold. No, they just high-fived and moved on. Yeah, these two fully in the friend zone and ain't getting out. Lastly, we have Nicole and Chris, and really just want to touch on their one conversation where Chris said that on the honeymoon, he had said that she was a little bit thicker than he usually dates, but not in a bad way. That kind of spiraled a little bit further than it probably should. Like this never got into a big heated argument. Nicole said, yeah, hey, it's fine. It's fine for me to say that about myself, but not really okay for other people to say it about me. And I totally get where she is coming from that. But ultimately, I don't think that there was any ill will from Chris's comments. I think it was also good that he brought that up before she found out about it when watching the show. And ultimately, this can just be a learning and growing experience for them. Doesn't have to be turn into a big fight or a big issue long term. So obviously, self-image seems like something both of them struggle with. They're both not fully comfortable in their bodies. So hopefully they can use that to really understand where each other is coming from and grow from there. Because there are only a couple who has a shot this season. The other three couples are destined for eventual divorce, whether that's before decision day, on decision day, after decision day. It's happening. We're at least getting 3 more divorces from this season. So that's going to wrap things up, everybody, for this week. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.